Mokwongo adwa na wachi ni an iluonga ni Otiende Amollo, an jachung' mar od bura mar Arieda, kendo sani bende achung' mondo chako yiera kaka jaod bura mar Arieda. Wantiere kae gi jaoda Linet Amollo, wuoda Rodney Amollo kae, nyithiwa mago kura bende osego kura kae ni. Adwa nago erokamano ni jo-Rarieda manowuok sama chon mondo gibi gigo kuchgi, nikech go kura en haki mari. To kok igo kura to koro kinyal ywak ne ng'ato. Mar ariyo adwa nawach ni kura mar Arieda nyaka nende osebet kaber. Mak mana kuonde moko matin ma jomoko ne ywak ni nochak goye moleo matin koluwore gi stima nolal to kamoro gine stima mar sola ok neti, to mago kuonde ariyo kata adek ema asewinjo. Kuonde ma ywak ng'enye mokwongo en ni laini dhi mos. Nitie joma osebet e laini gibiro kata mana sa 12 to pod gin e laini nyaka sani. Hie joma koro dongo kamae. To giwacho ni laini dhi mos nikech gima waluongo ni Kim's kit cha manyaka ikete lweti ekowacho ni in ng'ama nadi. Kuonde moko dhi e mos. Ma koro en ywak, to en ywak mok ni Rarieda kendo aneno kaka kata mana Raila bende oywago ywagno kuonde mang'eny ji oseywage. Emomiyo akwayo mana jo IEBC ni giteme kaka ginyalo mondo gitime piyo. To mar ariyo nitiere kuonde ma ka ng'ato keto lwete to ok yude e mashin mar Kim's kit no. To koro wakwayo ni mondo jok mochung' ne yiero kok oyud nyinge Kim's kit to ng'i nyinge gimiluongo ni manual register. Kamoro lwete gimoro emotimo omiyo ok nyal wuok, to king'iyo nyinge e manual register tinyalo yudo. Mane bende gima doho nyocho wacho. To mopogre gi kanyo, to wakwayo mana jochung' e kom moro amora mondo bed gi kwe, nikech yiero en mar jopiny, mondo kik gikel lweny. E thurwa kae ni, Rarieda kae ni, nitiere achiel kuom jok mwalerogo miluongo ni Agustin Neta Dhola, machakre okinyi osebet kadhi e polling stations ka polling station to koyudo jok moparo ni gin joga to ogoyo. Ma gisedhi Migowa Primary ging'o ng'ato ni Vincent Owade Mang'ata, ne gisedhi Wagoro gigo Jena Yalo, ne gisedhi Nyakaungo gigo Moses Umbuoro, ne gisedhi Rarieda School gigo Munda Odhiambo Munda, to koro Ruma kae to ne gi attack Dr. Paul Saoke. Maruma gi attack Paul Saoke ma gigo nyaka Bunde malo. Gik moko ilago ok ber gi thurwa kae. Akwayo jok mwachungo ni chik wacho ni ionge gi ratiro mar donjo kamigoe kura kok in agent, to kin jago kura. Kaka nyaka nwawuog chiew gokinyi, wawinjo mana gik matimre nikech wan gi jowa e polling stations go te. To pok wadhi kuondego nikech kwadhi kuondego kamoro jomoko ni kodi, jomoko ok ni kodi. Koro kidhi kanyo tinyalo cause tension ma ywaruok bede maonge tiende. Ma nas wakwayo kendo wakwayo polise mantie, wakwayo jo IEBC mondo chung gik moko ilago nikech nyalo kelo ywaruok mok ber. Kok mana kamano to wan gi geno ni wan kaka candidate mar od bura mar Arieda wabro loyo sama chon, kendo wan gi geno ni jogo mochung' e ODM te bro loyo, to wan gi geno na ahinya ker mar 5 mar piny Kenya ka miluongo ni Raila Amollo Odinga bro lo nyawadgi kaka kanam. Hero uru kamano. Hey, you are not responding. Are you muted now? Okay, thank you very much. My name is Otiende Amollo. I'm the sitting member of parliament and a candidate for this year's election for member of parliament. I'm here with my dear wife, Linet Amollo, and part of the team and voters at this polling station. This is Chanda polling station, where both my wife and I vote. This is also the school where I learned in primary school. And I'm also the patron. I have just cast my vote, and my wife has also cast her vote, and all our children of voting age have also already cast their vote at this polling station, and all my brothers and relatives and friends. I would want to say so far that the voting in this area in Rarieda in terms of turnout is impressive. People came to various polling stations as early as 3 a.m. In order to vote early. And in most polling stations, in a majority of polling stations, voting started in time. I've only had maybe 2 or 3 incidences where it's alleged that voting started late and that therefore there was a slight delay from the time when they were supposed to start. They raised that, of course, with the presiding officers, asking to be compensated by an equal time of the delay. We will see whether the presiding officers factor that in. Other than that slight delay, and mostly it was caused in those instances by lack of lights, because at that time there was a blackout in part of this area. And the lights, which I think are solar-based, may not have been charged or something, but I'm sure they'll address that. The second issue that appears rampant is the delay in voting. A lot of people are complaining that the KIMS kit identification takes a bit too long. In our case, my wife and I, it did not take long. It barely took 5 seconds. But we've received various complaints from various people that identification and therefore the process is taking very long. And that is something that needs to be checked. Hopefully, it's not widespread. The third issue is in terms of identification. There are those who seek to be identified by the KIMS kit and then it fails to identify them. And in those instances, they've been asking the presiding officers to resort to the manual register. In all the instances that have been reported to us, the presiding officers have declined, saying that they only resort to the manual register if the KIMS kit fails. And by that, they understand it to mean that if it does not work at all. But my understanding of the decision of the Court of Appeal rendered only yesterday is that you resort to the manual register when the KIMS kit fails, not necessarily for all the voters, even if it's one voter. And it means, therefore, that if the KIMS kit cannot identify you, for satisfaction, the presiding officer ought to check the manual register just to confirm that you are also not identifiable in that manual register. And I've raised that with the returning officer to advise the presiding officers that they're actually in dereliction of the law by refusing to check the manual register and turning such voters away. Overall, I think voting has been peaceful. People of Rarieda are very peaceful, as you can see even in this polling station. With minimal security, there's barely 1 or 2 security officers, but voters are very peaceful. Unfortunately, some of our competitors have resorted to unorthodox practice of going to all the polling stations and attacking those that they perceive to be against them. Specifically, one of my competitors, called Agustin Neto Abola, it has been reported to me, has attacked my chief agents in at least 7 polling stations. They've attacked them in a place called Migoa polling station, in Wagoro, in Nyakongo, in Rarieda primary, and in Ruma primary. The case of Ruma primary is particularly sad, and I urge you members of the media to go and follow it up, because they attacked my primary, my primary agent called Dr. Paul Saoke, and unfortunately, and I don't know how that happened, it appears the IBC and the police allowed him into the polling station armed with a firearm and even shot in the air, in the course of that attack. We have reported all these incidents to the police. I've urged all those supporters to report it. I have myself restrained myself from visiting various polling stations because as a candidate, you do not have an automatic right of entry to all voting points unless you have designated yourself as your own agent, especially as your chief agent. And therefore, this is the first polling station we are coming to because we are voters here. But I urge the police and I urge the IBC to contain such incidences because such incidences could invite retaliation, and we cannot afford to have a retaliatory attack or a situation where it is alleged that there was violence in Rarieda. We are peace-loving, we will be peace-loving, we will vote whoever the people have chosen will be the winner for all the seats, from the MCA to the MP, all the way to the presidency. We need not resort to violence because your vote is your right. I want to thank you, unless there's a question. But other than that, first I want to thank all the residents of Rarieda who've turned up to vote with all sorts of difficulties. I am confident that as a candidate, I will win this election, and I'm confident that all the ODM candidates will win these elections in this part of the world. But ultimately, that our president of choice, who is also the 5th president of the Republic of Kenya, Raila Amollo Odinga, will win with a landslide in the first round. Kora wachi dolu. Among dolu.
Four.
For life.
Four.
For life.
Yeah. Yeah, well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen of the Fourth Estate. First of all, allow me to thank the Almighty God for making us see this great day. 5 years ago, this day looks very long. Yes. Now, which one? There are so many. There's this. So, like I said, first of all, allow me to thank the Almighty God for making us see this day. 5 years ago, this day looked extremely long. It looked like it was decades away, but we are finally here, and we thank God. It is His own doing and making that we are here. Many people would have wanted to be here today, they are not here. The process seems to be going on well. Of course, there's some complaints about the machines being rather slow. But by and large, I think the process is going on well. This is a fairly big polling station, over the 1,300 registered voters. So I do expect, I know of course that most people came in the morning. This is where I did my last rally, and I gave a clarion call to them. This is where I was born. This school is actually built on my great-grandfather's land. I made a clarion call to them to make sure everyone who is eligible turns out to vote. So from what I can see, from the boxes, from the ballots that have been cast, I would want to believe that it's going on well. But we still have about 7 hours to go. So I still expect many more people. There are quite a number of assisted voters. I do hope that those who are assisting them will help them to make the right decision, because this is a very momentous occasion for us as a country, for us as a county, and every one of us, nearly 50 million plus citizens of this republic, and even equally more important to the nearly 1 million residents of Siaya County. So yeah, so far I can say it's so good. The machines could have been faster, but I do appreciate that the electoral officials are trying the best they could. At this moment, probably the only thing I can say is that so far, from what I can see, I've not had any major incidents on this particular polling center. I would want to make a call to peace. for everyone. Each election must produce winners and losers. In a matter of fact, elections produce more losers than winners. I would want to see a peaceful process, a fair, credible, and transparent process where those who have won can have the humility to embrace those who have lost. Because at the end of the day, for example, I am vying to be the governor of Siaya County. Of course, I am casting my vote in the hope that tomorrow I'll be declared the governor. But, and be that as it may, and hoping that that is what comes out, it is my wish that I will reach out. If the Almighty God grants me this seat, I'll reach out to my worthy competitors, because we, like I've said during the campaigns, we belong to this county both before, during, and after elections. Yes, of course, campaigns can be divisive. Yes, of course, some unpleasant words can be spoken during campaigns, but I think that is now behind us. I am hoping and praying that I'll be the governor tomorrow. When that happens, I'll be the governor for everyone, including those who ran against me, because the competition ends today and we start charting the way forward for building our great county.
Okay. Very comprehensive.